Kingdom Hall?
Beg your pardon?
Is this the Kingdom Hall?
No, it's not, but I can take a message.
Oh, okay. I just had a quick question. I've been reading about Jehovah's Witnesses lately. I just had a question about something I heard on the video called broadcasting.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever watch those?
Beg your pardon?
Do you usually watch those? Does everybody usually watch those?
Do we use what?
Do
I'm,
they
I'm,
do
I'm a
you
little
guys
hard of
watch
hearing.
those videos called broadcasting?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
I didn't know if it was real popular or what, but um in the most recent one, he was talking about the crafty acts of the devil, and he said Satan can use even your own brethren in the congregation. Um, that kind of startled me a little bit. How does that fit in with the expression spiritual paradise?
I'll tell you what, probably the best
Uh
way,
huh.
if you have some questions,
Just that one.
probably the best way to get answers if you would maybe, arrange some time when someone could give you a clear and concise answer with the opportunity to really make sure we're giving you the correct information to
Are
the
you saying
question
you don't
that
really know?
yeah,
You don't
so that
know?
we know exactly what your question is, and so we could arrange some time when someone could visit with you, or maybe and discuss what the question you have, if that would be something you would like to
No,
do.
no, I just wanted to call and ask. I didn't really want anybody to meet with
Okay.
me.
Um,
What's your thought on it? I thought it was kind of interesting. Um,
I see because that's what I say. I'm a little hard of hearing and knowing exactly. I'm not sure exactly which um, broadcast. There's a lot of videos and things
oh
on
yeah, the
there.
most recent one called JW Broadcasting April.
Right. Is that
Hmm.
for April?
Yeah.
Okay, I did watch that,
Uh-huh.
and so, but I'm not sure I understand what your question is.
You don't? I mean, it's
No,
it's
I know
saying
what I'm saying is I don't. I'm telling you, I do not hear exactly, so I understand what the question is that you have.
okay.
So
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can.
Okay. Well, the question is he said that you he was talking about the crafty acts of the devil, and he
Yes.
said people in the congregation can be one of those that Satan
Yes.
uses. At the same time, they call the congregation a spiritual paradise, which is an ark of safety, and Satan is the one in the world, right? That the controls you all are not the world. You're the only
Correct.
spiritual paradise. So to me it just seemed like what
Well,
happened to the spiritual paradise?
well, I think you're misunderstanding the statement.
I don't think so. It's not hard to
Well,
understand.
when he said, when you see the crafty acts of the devil, those are things that are taking place in the world, and the devil's influence is broad because he's the ruler of the world.
There's many articles that say as long as you stay in the ark of safety in the spiritual paradise, you will not be harmed by the weapons hurled by Satan.
Do you really want answers, or do you want to argue?
I'm just quoting the publications. Is that arguing?
No, that was my question to you. Do you want answers?
Okay. Okay.
Or do you
Well,
want to
well,
argue?
thanks anyways.
And I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Uh-huh.
But as far as just arguing or debating, I'm not interested in doing that, and I don't know from the tone of this discussion, it doesn't appear as if you do either.
I was
So
just quoting from the literature. I got your number from the JW website.
Okay, how you doing?
Are you like a pastor or something like that?
Sorry, say that again.
Are you like a pastor or something like that?
Yes, I'm an elder in the congregation.
Oh, I see. Okay. I was on jw.org and I just had a quick question about something.
Yeah, how can I help?
Oh, okay. Well, I was learning about the history of the organization and different dates they've had and predictions and rules, which they then afterwards had changed or done away with. And I've read a lot of testimonies about how those things affected people's lives, because they based their lives on them, on those things that were said to be from Jehovah. But I came across a video on the website in which one of the leaders said this statement. He said, as regarding things they have done away with or changed, he said, "We are not embarrassed, nor is an apology needed for not getting it exactly right." I was just wondering, what do you think about that?
I just wondered why you're from Arizona, but I'm just trying to work out why you're calling someone all the way in England.
Yeah, isn't it?
You've not been able to speak to local.
Oh, they are kind of different than the old kind of Jehovah Witnesses. Like, they say they're just there to show their literature, and they don't discuss. They call it debating if you have a question, and say go to jw.org. Like they're kind of a walking billboard. So I thought maybe somewhere else you guys still have conversations.
Yeah, no, I'm not willing to do that. I'd prefer if you spoke with local members.
Well, I didn't, because they don't talk. They don't speak. They're looking for someone who they can, meet with and start taking them through their stuff to get them to join. That's my impression of it.
All right. Well, I'm sorry you got that impression. That's not my experience, but
okay.
I
That's why. But you're doing the same thing, really. I'm just asking about something. You call them the only true channel on earth. I'm just asking you about something he said.
Sorry, he said?
Yeah, the video I just told you about. That they don't need to apologize.
Sorry?
The statement I just read you was from your own governing body, who they say are the channel on earth. So I think it's kind of a fair question. Can you tell me about how you feel about that? Or what do you think about him saying such a thing?
Yeah, I'm not willing to speak with someone who's sort of just trawling through jw.org to speak to sort of different ones around the earth.
Just trolling through it. Okay, well, that's very interesting. Okay, thank you. God bless you. My name is Christine. I've been going on jw.org, and I just had a question about something. Do you have a minute?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, well, I've become familiar with the history of the organization, and I was kind of wondering what you guys thought about what this one guy said on a video that I saw. I think he's one of the leaders. His name is Jeffrey Winder. Did you ever hear of him?
No.
Oh, okay. He's one of the what they call the governing body.
Okay.
So is that like they're like the only channel of truth and stuff like that? Is what they call themselves, right?
That I don't think they do, but I don't know where you heard that.
Oh, I think he even said the word channel in his talk. But what I was wondering about was the part where he was talking about how they have taught things in the past that they had to take back or
adjust.
They use that word adjust, but most people would call it change.
Change, adjust.
Yeah, change is a more accurate word, or retract completely. But anyway, what he said is, we are not embarrassed, nor is an apology needed for not getting it exactly right. Now, not getting something exactly right does not really fit a lot of their changes. Some of the things over the history affected people's lives in awful ways. So I don't get why they're not embarrassed or think no apology is needed, because they say that what they teach is from Jehovah to Jesus to them.
Okay, is there a question in there for me?
Yeah, what do you think about that? How does that make you feel? I know for people who, you know, some people moved or sold their businesses. Some people didn't get to live out what their dreams and passions were because they believed that there was no point in it because of this generation and things like that. It must feel like a punch in the stomach to them to hear him say a thing like this. They have.
Well, I can't make assumptions, and I can't answer for how others may think or feel. I can't do that.
Okay, so for you, it doesn't.
I think it's dangerous when we do that. So I can't answer that question.
I think if they claim to be God's only channel on earth, I think it's kind of a legitimate question because there's scriptures that utterly condemn people saying things in the name of Jehovah that aren't right.
Well, I think.
Have you ever read any of those scriptures?
Well, let me just give
Sure.
you
Go ahead.
perhaps an illustration.
Yeah.
You may look at it this way. At 5 years old, you were learning things, and there are things that will becoming familiar with. You're becoming familiar with at 5 years old. At 10 years old, you had a better understanding of those things, and at 16, obviously the world became much broader, and then at 25 years of age, you wouldn't make some of the same mistakes that you made back during some of those early times. You learned, you adjusted. Were they just worthless experiences? No. They taught you things. But then where you have made mistakes, like you're going to condemn yourself and say, why would I be thinking that way at 18? It was just so horrible. It was just devastating. It was just... And you have to live past your mistakes and learn from them. You just don't go on living with that in mind. So we've never, as far as I know, in my experience being one of the...
Could you speak up a little? I can hardly hear you now.
I said we've never... well, first of all, does that illustration make sense?
You're fading out again. Are you on like speaker or something like that? It's kind
No.
of okay.
I'm on a
Could you just speak a little louder?
So have you?
Perfect.
Did you get the sense of my illustration?
Yeah. Could I comment on it?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Well, it fails because these are not 5-year-old children. They are controlling and directing 8 million people. And they also say, just a second, I let you talk. And they're saying that what they teach comes from Jehovah to Jesus to them. And not only that, they have preached it all around the world. In the book of Jeremiah here, I'm just going to read you one part. It says, "Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, says the Yahweh, that steal my words, every one from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets, says Yahweh, that use their tongues and say, he saith." So they're speaking in his name, is what that is saying. In Deuteronomy 18:20 through 22, it says, anyone who does that and says they're speaking in the name of Jehovah and predicts things that don't come true, that was actually a death penalty in the Old Testament. And it also instructs us not to follow anyone like that.
Okay. And so what's your point?
You don't understand the point of that. The point is your thing about a 5-year-old child and a 10-year-old child. It's they don't portray themselves as just a child striving to find the truth. They have said that from practically the very beginning. They're making these extreme authoritative claims. But according to you, they have no accountability for what they've done to people.
Okay, at this point and in this conversation, I don't think there's anything I would say that would adjust your mind.
adjust, like get me mentally readjusted or something. I know they
to
use
be
words like
reasonable.
that. I'm trying to help
but,
you.
okay, let me change. See, I mean, we're going to where this is headed. I don't have for us to go into trivials of words and
Trivial.
I don't. Yeah.
Okay, you don't care about what all the people that got hurt either. Like them saying blood
Ma'am,
fractions are not from Jehovah's against them. Jehovah's against organ transplant. Jehovah's against alternative service for the military.
Okay.
Didn't that hurt people?
Ma'am, this conversation is
You don't care about
I
it.
think
Okay.
that's why you asked me to give you a little bit of your time, of my time.
Yeah,
did.
I appreciate it so much.
Okay, thank you.
Do some more research for yourself. God bless you. Things on jw.org, and I was just wondering if I could ask a question about one of them.
Sure,
Do you have a minute?
of course.
Okay. Well, this is from the online library. It's an article. Well, it's an article called "Do You Appreciate the Faithful and Discreet Slave?" And it says that the faithful and discreet slave has abundant credentials. The heading says overwhelming credentials. And then it gives all these scriptures that it says are designations applying to them, the remnant of Jesus' anointed followers since 1919. So there's 79 things that they're saying are designations for them, like kind of like types. Is that what they're getting at? Types?
You know that to answer this question, maybe if you're available, we can sit and go over it in detail. It's a fairly deep discussion to have just out the blue without really understanding your full background and
Oh, I see.
how much how much you understand of the article.
Yeah, I feel
like
I don't see how that's how
it?
is that a credential just because they say that, well, the people writing this are like, we fulfill like all these things. Like, when Jesus was on the Emmaus Road, he said they should find him in the law, the prophets, and the Psalms. They should find him. So, I mean, it's kind of a heavyweight kind of claim, You want me to read some of them to you that they said are them? The light of the nations, big trees of righteousness, men trembling.
So is there a particular question you have?
Yeah, I mean,
or do you just disagree with what's printed? Or
yeah, do you agree with that?
I haven't pulled up the particular article, and so I'm not sure if you're taking it out of context.
Oh,
or
no,
what.
no. It looks like, I mean, it's very clear. It's saying, I don't get why that's a credential of someone. I mean, anybody could do that. And probably there are other groups that do that too. Say, well, that's just all about us.
If you'd like to have a Bible study and understand the full meaning of it, I can help you set one up.
Do you have, well, I'm a little leery of it because Jesus talked about many scriptures and that we can find him. John chapter 5, he also talks about that also.
So if you're not interested in really understanding, then I'll bid you adieu.
Well, do you agree with that? Do you agree with all those 79
you have
things?
A good one.
God bless you.